And now the continuation of Scout the Explorer Mouse and Nightroot Manor, Part 3. The air shimmered as Scout stepped into the lantern's golden glow, and one by one shadows began to move. A soft squeak echoed first, then another, until familiar faces emerged from the mist. Bristle, dusted with cobwebs. Thistle, clutching her glowing pendant. Willow, wings flickering faintly with the light of her feather. And Ash, his small flame hovering proudly above his paw. They stared at one another, silent for a heartbeat, before Scout whispered, "Together again." The relic pulsed once as if it too remembered. The group moved cautiously into the vast vaulted chamber. Columns lined the walls like silent sentinels, each mirrored surface gleaming faintly in the dim light. The reflections trailed behind them, but something was off. The air shimmered. Every echo of their steps came back wrong, slightly delayed, distorted, like another version of themselves was walking just a breath away. Thistle's pendant pulsed softly, Ash's small flame wavered, Willow's feather shimmered in alarm, and then from the mirrors their reflections turned, smiling on their own. Scout's voice was steady but low. "Stay close. Whatever this place remembers, it's remembering us now." The air shimmered faintly as Scout, Thistle, and Ash stepped inside. The walls of the chamber were alive, not with motion, but with sound. Faint voices murmured from the stones themselves, whispering fragments of fears, memories, and long-lost names. Scout's paw tightened around the relic. "Stay close," he said, his tone low but steady. Thistle's pendant pulsed softly, echoing faint heartbeats from beyond the dark. Ash, clutching his flame, felt the warmth flicker, not from cold, but from unease. They moved together, small silhouettes framed by swirling light, their reflections in the glassy floor whispering back words they hadn't spoken aloud. Then one whisper rose above the rest, a voice that sounded terribly familiar. "Turn back before you join us." The air trembled as whispers sharpened into voices, angry, pleading, endless. Scout's paw tightened around the relic. The light inside pulsed like a heartbeat. Thistle's pendant glowed in rhythm, and Ash's flame flickered, casting long, twisting shadows along the walls. The whispers grew louder, shaping words none of them wanted to hear. "Turn back before you join us." Scout stood firm, his tail bristling. "No," he said quietly, "we've come too far to turn back now." The chamber groaned, stone grinding against stone, as ghostly figures began to take form in the mist. For a heartbeat, their own reflections stared back at them, pale and frightened, as if warning what they might become. The corridor narrowed into a vault-like chamber, its ceiling vanishing into darkness. The walls were inscribed with words that shifted as they passed, whispers chasing the sound of their footsteps. Thistle's pendant pulsed with soft gold, its light flickering in rhythm with the echoes. Each heartbeat in the chamber answered it, though none belonged to them. Ash crouched, his flame hovering at his side. "Feels like the walls are breathing," he muttered. Scout didn't answer. He was studying the carvings, tracing the repeating symbol, the group sigil, half buried under time. "Whatever this place remembers," Thistle whispered, voice trembling, "it's remembering us." The runes suddenly flared, the chamber groaned, and the whispers stopped. Then, from every direction at once, their own voices whispered back to them, "Bring them back." The chamber stillness broke like glass. Dust swirled as Scout and Thistle leapt aside, their cloaks snapping in the rush of unseen wind. The relic pulsed with warning, echoing the voices that once whispered, now screaming in the dark, "Bring them back!" The room came alive with light and motion. Whispers became wind, and the air trembled with memory. Whatever power slept here, it was awake now. The chamber trembled as the runes along the walls flared to life, their glowing rippling like a heartbeat through the stone. Out shielded his eyes, the relic in his paw blazing in answer, light meeting light. Thistle's pendant pulsed, echoing faintly with each thrum of energy, while Ash's flame flickered wildly, caught between fear and awe. The whisper that followed was neither threat nor welcome, but a promise. The house remembers, and so must you. The chamber's glow had dimmed, replaced by an eerie stillness. Walls that once whispered now shimmered like glass, each surface fractured, reflecting not one world but many. Scout, Thistle, and Ash stood at the center of it all, their reflections breaking apart across the mirrored shards that hung mid-air. Frozen like pieces of shattered time, each fragment held an echo. The group's laughter, their fears, their journey through Nightroot Manor, splintered and replaying out of order. From somewhere beyond the glass came a sound like a heartbeat and a whisper that felt close enough to touch. Memory is the key. The air pulsed and the mirrors began to move. Step closer, the relic's glow rippling across the fractured mirrors. Each reflection moved out of sync, his eyes blinking a moment too late, his paw raised when his own was still. Bristle reached out, trembling as one reflection turned toward her before she did, its mouth whispering words she hadn't yet spoken. Ash's flame flickered nervously, casting living shadows that stretched and bent in impossible ways. Then one of the mirrored scouts smiled back at him, though he hadn't. Reflection raised its paw slowly and pressed against the glass from the inside. The glass shimmered like water, their reflections twisting with impossible motion. Scout's breath caught as his mirrored self looked straight back, older, wearier, and whispering something soundless. Thistle's pendant glowed in rhythm while Ash's flame flickered uncertainly. Each pulse echoed in the reflections. Then, for one fragile instant, all three saw themselves not as they were, but as they would be. The light dimmed, only their own trembling faces stared back. The corridor split and twisted, walls folding like glass in a dream. Scout led the way, relic glowing faintly while Thistle and Ash moved close behind. Their reflection shifted along the mirrored stone, not mimicking them, but watching. A low hum rose from the floorboards, carrying a single word that echoed through the dark. Remember. The floor groaned beneath their paws as the corridor twisted like a living thing, bending space and reflection together. Scout stumbled forward, one paw gripping the relic tight, its glow cutting through the warped air. Ash's flame flickered, casting overlapping shadows that didn't match their movements. Thistle gasped as her pendant shone brighter. For every step they took, the hall split wider, showing echoes of the other versions of themselves trapped in the endless turns. And from far down the corridor came a voice, quiet but clear. Only one path is real. Coming soon, Nightroot Manor, Part 4. The echoes have fallen silent, but the house is not done remembering. Beneath its shifting halls, something ancient stirs, a secret older than Nightroot itself. Scout and his friends will face even what the ghosts fear to speak. The beating heart of the manor, where memory becomes truth and light and shadow finally meet. The manor remembers, will you? Coming soon, Nightroot Manor, Part 4. Thanks for dropping by, and thank you for subscribing.